Imagine walking into the gym for the very first time. You're unsure, maybe a little intimidated, but after a few weeks, something incredible happens. You're suddenly lifting weights that you could never have dreamed of. Feels a bit like magic. But what's really going on here? Is it raw strength? Is it hypertrophy? Or is it something else entirely? I'm Simon from the Deep South Experiment podcast, and this is where we get stuck into muscle building, fat loss, and the mindset around it all. Today, here in episode 2 of this series of hypertrophy versus strength, we're tackling one of the most fascinating phenomena in fitness, and that is, why do beginners experience such explosive strength gains when they start working out? We'll unpack what's really happening in your body during those first few months. We'll explore the neurological adaptations, the role of hypertrophy, and how these changes set the stage for long-term progress. Be sure to check out the main video that relates to this series. If you're a newbie, your body is adapting to something it's never done before. For the first few weeks of training, it's not about bigger muscles, well, not yet anyway. Instead, it's all about your nervous system, learning how to recruit muscle fibers and be more efficient. Think about it like this. You're learning to drive a car. At first, everything feels awkward, from jerky steering to uneven acceleration, but over time, it gets smoother. This is because your car hasn't improved. It's because you're learning to drive it more effectively and more efficiently. The same thing happens in a gym. Your brain and nerves are figuring out how to coordinate your muscle for maximum efficiency. So what is driving these gains? Is it primarily neurological adaptation, or are there a few other things going on? Here are a few examples. Firstly, there is improved motor unit recruitment. This is where your brain learns to fire up more of the available muscle fibers at one time. Think of it like turning on more light bulbs in a room. Secondly, it's increasing the frequency in which the muscles fire. Your muscles don't just work harder, they work faster. It's like upgrading from dial-up internet to fiber optic speeds. And thirdly, it's better intermuscular coordination. Different muscle groups start working together more seamlessly, like a well-rehearsed orchestra. But here's the thing. Hypertrophy isn't playing a significant role just yet, because muscle growth does take time. What you're feeling is strength without size. The question is, how long can this phase last before you then hit a plateau? Picture this. Within the first month of lifting, your bench press jumps by 50%. You're thrilled. By month 3, however, your progress slows down. This might sound fairly familiar to a lot of people. This is where you understand the difference between strength and hypertrophy, and it becomes quite crucial. Your early gains were driven by your nervous system, but now your muscles need to grow to keep up with the demands that are being placed on them. This is the transformation from a newbie gains to the long-term game of building size and sustainable strength, and this affects everyone. So what does this mean for you? Should you focus on strength first or chase hypertrophy from day one? How do you avoid that dreaded plateau when your neurological adaptations max out or reach their ceiling? And more importantly, how can you ensure that every workout moves you closer to the goals that you have? The key takeaway here is that strength and hypertrophy are intertwined, but they don't follow the same timeline. As a beginner, you're in your honeymoon period for strength gains. Enjoy it, but prepare for what is going to come next. A plateau can be avoided by planning to incorporate strength and hypertrophy into your workout plan so that you move through the weight, through the reps, and through the volume over time. Coming up in episode 3, we'll explore isolation versus compound exercises. Which is better for building muscle? And how does exercise volume factor into the equation? If you've ever wondered whether you're wasting your time with bicep curls or neglecting gains by avoiding squats, episode 3 will be sure to supply you with that information. So thank you for joining me through this journey of strength and hypertrophy. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this content useful, and I'll see you in episode 3.